Hi everyone, it's Chris. Welcome to my channel, Soul Stories. I'm here with a reading. I'm very interested, and I've been interested for a long time because it's a mystery that's still ongoing, and that is the death of Natalie Wood. Now, Natalie Wood was an actress, an American actress who was quite successful, had done quite a few really, really good movies, and she was absolutely gorgeous. And she was born in 1938 on the 20th of July, and she passed away on the 29th of November 1981 in the company of her then husband, Robert Wagner, and a co-star, Christopher Walken, who was starring in her comeback movie. What was it called? Her comeback movie, Brainstorm. It was still in production. It hasn't actually. She was starting to do that movie. It was a comeback movie, and she was with Christopher Walken and her husband, and they had just gone out, taken on dinner off the boat that they were on, and had just come back, and she apparently drowned. Now, there's a lot of conjecture about what actually happened, and Robert Wagner in 2019 was considered a person of interest in her death, and I wonder what really happened. So I'm going to do a reading about that. So I'm going to actually cleanse the area first with my incense. Incense is a great way of cleansing the area, cleansing my cards, doing with tarot and my intuition, just going about what happens. Now, I'm not a psychic per se. I just have a lot of insight sometimes, and with the use of the tarot, I sometimes find answers. Now, they're usually given to me through the spirit, so whatever happens in this reading. I ring a bell, lets the spirits know that I'm open to communicating with them, that this is a safe space, that only positive white light is present, and whatever they can tell me, they're safe to do so, that I am safe, and then I can end this session anytime I want, and they are free to go anytime they want, and they're free to come in as they wish. Now, Natalie Wood, as I said, was born on 20th of July 1938 and died on the 29th of November 1981. Cause of death, drowning and other undetermined factors. She was the actress from the age of 8, and she starred in The Miracle on 34th Street in 1947, which is a pretty good age to start for many actresses in those days. So she was very quite popular, and I say she was quite beautiful. She married Robert Wagner twice. First of all, they married in 1957 and were divorced in 1962, and then remarried in 1972 till her death in 1981. She was also married to Richard Gregson from 1969 to 1972 when they divorced, and she married Robert Wagner. Now, you might remember Robert Wagner from Heart to Heart. I don't know whether you remember that one, but they had 2 children, one from each marriage. And in 1981, the age of 43, she drowned in the Pacific Ocean at Santa Catalina Island. Now, they had said they had been on shore for some sort of celebration, dinner, what have you, and they came back to the yacht. She was with her husband, Robert Wagner, and Christopher Walken, her co-star, from a comeback film, still in production, Brainstorm. Her death and events after prompted the Los Angeles County Police Department to list her death as drowning and other undetermined factors in 2012. In 2018, Robert Wagner was named as a person of interest in the ongoing investigation, and Robert Wagner is now 95. Thomas, I'm going to butcher this one, Thomas Nuggetchi, as a coroner of the Stars, apparently, is a LA's coroner, has said he knows the reason for her drowning and believes she might have lived if she had taken off her jacket after falling into the water, as it weighed 30 to 40 pounds in its sodden state, and there were bruises on her body and a cut on her cheek. Her blood alcohol level was 0.12. Now, it depends on how she went into the water, why she went into the water, and if she was drunk, or she pushed, or was she drugged. Well, they didn't find any drugs in the system, so was she pushed? Was she unconscious? You don't know that, do you? And that has not been revealed in any form that I could find about what the other undetermined factors were. I don't think anyone really knows what the undetermined factors were, other than bruising and a cut cheek. In 2008, Robert Wagner admits in his memoir that he'd fought with both Christopher Walken and Natalie the night she died, but they had all calmed down afterwards, and he still doesn't know what happened to her. Because obviously, apparently, she went to bed before anyone else, and she had her cabin at the back of the boat. Christopher Walken has rarely spoken out about Natalie's death, but in 1986 he said he did not know what happened. He doesn't know what happened. Then that she slipped and fell into the water, and as he was in bed, and he wasn't impressed with being asked about his memories of this one, and he said it was an effing bore. So what an attitude is that? It's an effing bore, he said, because he kept being asked all these questions. And in 1997 he said to Playboy magazine that it was an accident, that only she knows, as she was alone and she couldn't swim apparently, and she was probably half asleep. The dinghy that they had tied to the boat, that they get from the boat to shore, had been hitting the side of the boat they were on, and she probably went to move it, and she slipped because it was slippery out there. But he said the truth is there's nothing more to it, and anyone trying to find any more answers is not going to find anything, because that's what happened. She just fell into the water, she was alone, and she drowned. So I don't know for sure what really happened, and no one's going to find out what's happened. So maybe one or the other will make a declaration on the deathbed. I say Robert Wagner is now 95. Christopher Walken is 81. So you never know. But I'm going to find out what the energy is and see if Natalie's spirit will come through for us. I'm going to pour a cup of tea. I'm sure Natalie would like a cup of tea. Any spirits that would like some sustenance. And see what might be happening. So I'm going to find out what the energy is around Natalie and see if she'll come and chat with us, or someone that knows what happened will chat with us. It's a safe environment here. Asking the cards for any spirits that want to come through and give me some information. Asking the cards what happened to Natalie Wood. What happened to Natalie Wood that night? Robert Wagner is still a person of interest. Everyone wants to know what really happened that night. Is Christopher Walken correct? It was just an unfortunate accident, or is there some more information the cards will be able to shed a light on, please? The Five of Diamonds is the Five of Pentacles. She was miserable. I think there may have been some jealousy between Robert Wagner and his idea that perhaps Natalie was having an affair, or there was just something going on, but Natalie was absolutely, she just felt so alone, so sad. So sad. The marriage was relatively fraught with unhappiness. That's all I'm coming through with, unhappiness. There's just nothing there for her at this stage in her relationship with Robert Wagner. She wanted to escape. She wanted some... he was quite controlling in his relationship with her, and she felt as though she was being pulled back into the reasons they divorced in the first place. And the first marriage lasted only until 1962, so it's not very long. But they remarried again in 1972, so I'm not too sure why they remarried. Maybe they wanted to try again, but she was miserable the first time they were married, and this was no different. And that argument really unsettled her, and there's speculation that perhaps she tried to get away in the dinghy, overturned and drowned. It's possible when this card came up as an indication that, yes, she wanted to get away. But I think he tried to stop her, and unfortunately Robert Wagner, I do believe, or could have been Christopher Walken, I'm not too sure. I don't think he is not considered a person of interest, and people are considering why is he being held, why is he the only one being questioned virtually, why is he being hounded to declare what really happened, when obviously maybe he did not know. But I think there was a struggle, and overboard she went, because she's wearing her jacket, which obviously indicates to me that she was not asleep, and she had not been asleep for a while. Why would you wear a jacket? One of those fluffy jackets at the park of some sort. Why would you wear that if you were in bed? So obviously she was unhappy, very unhappy. Let's have a look and see what else is coming up. They were trying to work on their marriage. She was trying very, very hard to make things work, but the old problems resurfaced, and not much longer, really. When were they married the first time? In 1957, 57, 58, 59, 61, 62. It's 5 years. So nine years they were married, and things were back to where they were, but she was trying very hard to make things work. But Robert Wagner sort of wasn't able to solve his jealousy. He was very domineering, very controlling. Yeah, they were giving it one more go. She was just so determined that this time it was going to work, and she really wanted. She blamed herself a lot for what was happening in the marriage, but it certainly wasn't her fault. But she was always giving it one more go. So when something happened, like this argument between the three of them that Robert Wagner admits to, I think that was just to cover his own guilt here, because he says he does feel guilty because something happened to someone he loved, and she was someone he loved, but that doesn't mean you can't be jealous or domineering or overpowering, overwhelming for her, and she always blamed herself because they have an argument and then he would say he was sorry and please forgive me and what have you, and she'd always go back. Oh, so did he accidentally knock her out and she fell overboard, and because she couldn't swim, she drowned? They were trying to make a happy home. They always wanted to make a happy home, and this is like, this card comes up saying that she built she tried to build a happy home. She tried to build a happy home for Robert Wagner and her 2 children. They were actually trying, this was like, they'd had a really major argument before this trip, and he didn't want her to do this movie. He particularly didn't want her to do it with Christopher Walken. He was jealous of him. I think some of the scenes they had would have been considered intimate to Robert, and he's sort of overly affectionate. And this was like a makeup trip just to get to know Christopher Walken, to sort out the details of what they were going through, what was really happening in their relationship, to make sure that Robert wanted to make sure that Christopher Walken knew that he loved Natalie, that they were together, that they were a couple, that they would never be apart, and that he had no business trying to step in. But this argument happened anyway. But they were trying to make this work, and this might have been like a reconciliation for them. But it sort of ended up being Natalie's death. I think it may have happened accidentally. Robert Wagner got, because Natalie wanted to leave, she was in her jacket. Why would she put on her jacket if she was still in bed? And how would Christopher Walken know that the dinghy was banging against the ship, the boat that they were on, if he didn't hear it himself? That sort of this speaks to me of, they were, all 3 of them were awake at the time, and I think Christopher Walken did not want to get involved in this domestic dispute. Oh, there's an opportunity coming up here now. She saw her opportunity. She saw it coming up now, and she wanted to get away. That was her way of getting out, to take the dinghy and row ashore, row ashore and get away from this situation. She was really fraught. She thought this was an opportunity to make amends, to start again, to really clear the air and get it out once and for all that she was, even though she was unhappy, I don't think she would have gone anywhere, because she was still trying to work it all out. She was trying to give it one more go. And this was her opportunity to get away, to get onto the dinghy and make a break for it. But so was she, I don't know, I would consider it murder. I would consider it an accidental death perhaps, but I think Robert was really quite angry. So did he throw Natalie overboard? Was it because of him that Natalie fell overboard? Was it because of Robert Wagner that she fell overboard? I think Christopher Walken was really quite trying to stop Robert from doing anything really silly. I think Natalie had been struck. She had been hit across the face, and Christopher didn't like that. He didn't want to see this happening, so I think he did try and prevent anything further from happening, but he couldn't prevent. I think he tried to grab Natalie before she went over, but he couldn't. But I don't know why none of them went into the water to try and save her. That is really the sticking point for me, that neither of them, because they weren't asleep. Christopher Walken was quite correct that only she knows what really was going on in her head. Not because she was alone, but because she never shared her final thoughts with anyone. She wanted to get away. It became obvious that she was trying to get away. This weekend was already not a very good solution for her. Two of Clubs, yeah. She wanted to get away. She saw the opportunity. She saw the opportunity. This argument was the final straw for her. She saw the opportunity to get away, and she took it. She weighed up the pros and the cons of that. She knew she couldn't swim, so I don't know why she didn't take a life jacket instead of just the parka. It would have been a better option. Or maybe she didn't have a time to get the life jacket, but there should have been one in the dinghy. Or maybe it was removed. That's an idea too. I think it might have been removed. So, but she saw the opportunity to get away. She did not want us to be there anymore. But I think I've got this vision that Robert was so angry that he pushed her and pushed her overboard. Yeah, physically pushed her overboard. In anger, in desperation, in jealous rage. Just, when you love somebody, jealousy can be quite strong, can be quite, especially when you're a controlling person and you believe that if no one can have her, if I can't have her, no one else will. Christopher, I think, tried to save her, but couldn't. But I don't know why they didn't go and try and pick her out of the water. What happened to you, Natalie, hey? Let's find out a bit more information. Then the choice was, what do we do? Do we go in? Do I go in after her, or do we just let her drown? Do I jeopardize? Maybe Robert had some information holding Christopher that if he told what really happened, he would lose something big. You might remember Christopher Walken. He was in Hairspray. He played in Hairspray, the dad. So the choices were there. Either of them could have made the choice to jump in after her and to bring her back up. Anyone could have done that. Either one of them could have done that. But they chose not to. They chose to let her drown, which is rather pathetic, don't you think? Yeah. Robert Wagner has some information that would have destroyed Christopher Walken, or the other way around. I'm not too sure. But there's certainly a lot of power here. Robert Wagner's 95 now. I'm hoping he will confess or say something on his deathbed. A lot of people who have holding on to guilt or holding on to something will let it go on their deathbed, so I'm hoping he will. He holds the key here. Christopher Walken also holds the truth here, and he's not going to say anything. He no longer wants to say anything. He says it's over and done with, and he was really adamant about that. He doesn't want to get into trouble either. There's a lot of history here. A lot of memories are being stirred right now. So Robert Wagner's getting close to his death date. He's thinking a lot about this one. I think he will actually confess or say what really happened that night very, very soon. The memories are being stirred here quite strongly indeed. So I think there will be an announcement within the next few months. And then the truth will come out, the truth will emerge, and we will find out what really happened, because there's hope here. This is the hope card. This is the universal message that the truth will eventually be revealed, and we will know what really happened to poor old Natalie Wood on that fateful night when she died. I'm just going to give another. So any messages from Natalie? Any final message from Natalie? Her truth, the truth will come out. It can't help but come out now. Robert Wagner is, his death is imminent. He's 95. He could live another 4 or 5 years. Yes, okay, plausible. But somehow I don't think so. The memories are being stirred. The guilt is being stirred. Things are really heating up for him. The memories are really gathering momentum now. The guilt is really coming through. He really understands his part in it now. He wants to be able to clear his conscience before he dies. The truth will come out. These choices will no longer be an option for him. The choice to remain silent will no longer be an option. The choice is coming through again, so definitely the choice has been taken away from him. He will feel so guilty. He'll feel the weight of this decision to have kept it quiet all this time. The weight will become unbearable, just as much as poor Natalie's jacket weighed her down and in the end drowned her. His choices are drowning him virtually, and both of them, one or the other, will tell the truth. I don't know who it's going to be. Yeah, look at this. Yep. This is again the Two of Wands. They now have a choice to make. They now have to make the final decision about what to tell and to share it with the world. This is Natalie saying her spirit has come to the point now where the truth will be told. The truth will be told, and I think we now just have to wait for that. So I'm going to say thank you so much to Natalie for coming through, or the spirits, whoever they were that came through with this information. So thank you very much for doing that, and I will clear the air now and allow you to move through. So thank you very much for letting me know. Blow out my candle. Allow the incense to dissipate. Let that clear the air. Clear my cards. Clear the reading. Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining me today in this reading. So I'm hoping you found that interesting. I'm going to try and do some more. This is my channel for doing that. So thank you very much, and until next time everyone, so many blessings.